Space. Interstellar colonization. What will it take for humanity to become a truly interstellar species? And how might it happen? In order to answer these questions, we have broken down the future of space exploration into 3 separate phases. Phase 1. The Moon and Mars. In Phase 1, there are concrete plans for human beings to return to the Moon in the coming decades. It makes sense for us to start with the Moon, as it is our closest heavenly body in the solar system, and the technologies developed there could go on to help us reach Mars. In 2024, NASA plans to return to the Moon with the Artemis missions. This includes not only NASA vehicles and astronauts, but also with the contribution of several commercial partners, including SpaceX, Dynetics, and the National Team. NASA also plans to place a space station in orbit around the Moon called Gateway, which will act as a transition point before astronauts land on the Moon again and will serve as a hub for spacecraft transiting to Mars. Unlike the Apollo missions of the 60s, these missions will rely on pre-staging where communications, habitation, and landing sites are organized remotely before any astronauts ever arrive at the Moon. The first base on the Moon will be little more than a lunar lander and a small outpost, but with the expected fall in cost to orbit per kilogram, we should start seeing other nations such as Russia and China launch their own manned and unmanned missions and start building a small base on the Moon. By returning to the Moon, we will hopefully start a base there in which the future could become a hub of economic and scientific activity. Returning to the Moon will also lay the foundation for a future mission to Mars. This will present significantly more challenges as compared to the Moon. Firstly, Mars is 50 million kilometers from us at its closest approach, meaning the communications lag is at a minimum 3 minutes, compared to the Moon at 384,000 kilometers and a lag of around 1.5 seconds. This lag will make it harder to communicate with our crew, and should anything vital go wrong, the huge distances involved will make recovery pretty much out of the question. However, overcoming these challenges is possible, and it could be as soon as 2030 that we see astronauts venturing there. Building on the same strategies used on the Moon, we will likely be able to pre-stage landing sites, communications, and local propellant production. This is important, as getting to Mars and landing safely will likely consume most of the ship's fuel, and we will therefore need to produce fuel on Mars in order to return our astronauts safely to the Earth. Once the first pioneers have reached Mars, we should be able to send further missions every few years in order to create a steady stream of new astronauts, spare parts, and supplies, allowing us to create our second outpost in space. One thing that remains clear amongst all of these ambitions is that if we can reach the Moon and Mars again, then we will have made not only life multiplanetary, but we will be able to provide new economic opportunities, develop revolutionary technology, and help bring together and inspire many generations to come. Subscribe to our channel to watch our next follow-on video, Phase 2, Exploring and Colonizing Our Solar System.